Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Mizuki Arts. Today we're going to be doing another paint with me video. So I am in the middle of my week of Mermay. I'm working on it longer than a week, but you get the idea. And we're going to be painting this mermaid today. If you're wondering why there's a random anchor here, that's because I needed to include an anchor in this painting and I knew I'm going to collage everything. But anyways, let's just jump right into it. I knew right off the bat I wanted this mermaid to be super colorful, surrounded by coral, and of course I wanted to include an anchor because the prompt for this particular mermaid painting was seafloor. And when I think of the seafloor, obviously I think of like coral reefs and tons of fish and crabs and things like that, but I also think of the wreckage that people leave behind. And while I didn't feel particularly inclined to include like an entire shipwreck or like trash or anything like that, I did feel like an anchor would imply that humans had their hand kind of, touch wherever these mermaids that I'm creating for this Mermay series reside. For some reason it feels like it's been a while since I've recorded a paint with me video. I know it really hasn't, but I did a couple weeks of like other videos, decorating sketchbooks and things like that. And of course my like old sketchbooks video that I just put out. And for those of you waiting on my upcoming video about like my college artwork, it is coming. It's taking me longer than I thought to work through everything that I have on hand right now, because yeah, I mean, I don't have all of my work back because this semester I did have several pieces go into the show and several pieces needed to stay behind for grading and everything. And the video is going to be very chaotic, but for those of you waiting, rest assured it's coming. It's just taking me a second. So hopefully in the meantime you guys don't mind another paint with me video. I feel like it's been a while, personally. I'm looking at my channel on my iPad to the side right now, and it's been like 3 weeks since I put up my like watercolor haul and paint with me video, like the stuff that Himi sent me and painting with that. So yeah, I guess it's been kind of a while. And I like recorded that in late April, so and now it's like June as I'm recording this video. Oh my gosh, it's been a while. Time really does fly. Speaking of time flying, all of my mermaid paintings are now complete, and if you want to see them, they are all up on my Ko-fi page right now. You can also see a few process videos and things like that up on my Instagram, and I've posted a couple here. I'm working on posting them all throughout the next week or so. It is actually shocking how much content you can get out of like 7 paintings. I mean, to be fair, I'm not like super happy with all of them because it was so rushed. In fact, I ran into kind of a problem where I would make mistakes early on and then try to overcompensate for them later by overpainting things. And it's unfortunately a mistake that is literally stuck with me in this weird like art blocky rut that I'm kind of in right now. I tried to paint some of my fairy OCs the other day, and I basically had the same thing happen where I made mistakes early on and then tried to overcompensate for them later. We are interrupting this regularly scheduled program to tell you to go check out my Etsy shop. Since fairies have overtaken my sketchbook and my life, my shop has become the ultimate fairy lover's dream. With products ranging from stickers, pins, and prints to original paintings, I've got it all. All of my stickers are printed on waterproof vinyl, and my prints are on high quality, durable, matte photo paper. So if you're watching this video, there's probably a fairy that's perfect for you. Whether you're looking for stickers, prints, paintings, or pins, head to www.etsy.com/shop/MizukiArtStudio. I've also found that after that week, I feel like I'm putting down lines like really hard when I'm sketching. Like I'm just overdrawing and doing like chicken scratch. That probably means I need to like rest and reset watch some like anime or something and get re-inspired again, because yeah, that's not something I usually struggle with. Usually I mean, you know, my sketches can be chicken scratchy sometimes, but usually I don't press super hard or anything. But for some reason, for the past couple of days, that's been a problem for me. I guess that's just a sign of art block setting in, because I've just been painting too much, not sketching enough, and not taking time to like reset afterwards. It's kind of funny that I worked like crazy hard all semester and all last semester, but then you know, when I fall into a rut, it's because I'm overworking myself and just doing like crazy amounts of painting over the summer. I've got so many different projects I'm excited about, and so many different projects that I'm literally in the middle of working on right now. It's just crazy. And some of it's, you know, like for PR stuff, like I've got a couple inks that I'm going to be sharing on my Instagram and all that in the coming days. I've got some markers sent to me by brands that I'm going to like post some content about, of course. And then on top of that, I'm toying with the idea of like putting some like really super experimental, super loose, super quick picture books up on like Amazon or something. I'm just trying to figure out ways that I can fit all of my desired projects in the summer, because I know I'm going to have a lot of fun in the fall with my final semester of school, but I also know that there won't be time to do all this stuff. As for what's on screen right now, you can see kind of the coloration and design choices that I went with for this mermaid. I wanted her to have like real fabric clothes. A lot of my mermaids in this like Mermay series have like fabric shirts. I've come to terms with the idea that all of my like fairies and mermaids and all that are kind of in the same universe, and they have not necessarily like fully human fashion, but they have access to like textiles and things like that. So their fashion kind of is a blend between the natural world and also like, you know, producing string and sewing techniques and fabric and all that. Like this mermaid has buttons on her shirt and everything. They don't really serve a function because it's like a tube top and some flowy gauze sleeves, but like there's some, you know, human kind of, I don't know, manufacturing going on, I guess. But then I've still incorporated like she's wearing a starfish and some pearls in her braids and everything. Trying to keep it like a balance between the two. With a lot of my fairy paintings, it's pretty much the same story, where they're usually wearing something like an outfit that could have some natural elements like petals or leaves thrown in, but there's still like a lot of fantasy or like human fashion inspired elements. The dresses in particular are usually inspired by like cottagecore or fairycore fashion. Lots of fluffy, silky kind of dresses, pretty corsets, usually puff sleeves involved. I love puff sleeves, they're so cute. And since I've decided that like all of my characters are in the same world, I've decided that a lot of the fairies are able to change sizes. Like they're able to be very, very small and hidden, and they're also able to like, I don't know, magically transform to be human size. That way it makes sense that they'd be able to interact with like the mermaids and the elves and other characters that I've created. I mean, obviously they could interact with these characters at a smaller size, but I also know I've done paintings and will continue to do paintings of fairies that are human size, so it just makes the most sense. I figure maybe it's a type of magic that's like heavily guarded to them, like making sure that no fairies, you know, give away the location of like a fairy village to someone that maybe shouldn't know. Maybe they need permission from like their leader or whatever to change sizes and go and interact with other magical beings. I don't know, that's just some world building that I'm kind of playing around with here. If you guys are ever interested in like hearing more about my world building and stuff that I'm working on for these guys, please let me know. I am trying to include more backgrounds and things like that in my paintings, even if they're just abstract, because it's kind of helping me work through this. I've been painting fairies and mermaids and elves and stuff for what feels like forever, so it just makes sense to kind of try and build something off of it. I've played around with writing up some like little picture book or children's book scripts, and that's going well too. I'm not planning on sharing those just yet, but they are a lot of fun to play with, and I do plan to eventually do something with them. Back to what's on screen, I decided to use some colored pencil in this painting because a lot of my mermaid paintings have been kind of like mixed media. I used a lot of ink, obviously colored pencil. I used a lot of Hemi watercolors for like the backgrounds and things like that because watercolor just flows really, really nicely. Pretty much anything went with this series just because I wanted everything to look as interesting as possible. I decided to use the same purple that I had used to outline and sketch the anchor that's in the top right, just because I wanted there to be some kind of like unity. I was a little worried about the anchor kind of looking too, I don't know, like muted, and I thought it might look weird if there was no like purple colored pencil anywhere else in the drawing. So yeah, just some accents and like extra shading and things like that, little scales and details. It was a lot of fun. I love how much color is in this mermaid's tail too. She looks really like truly tropical because she's got like greens and purples and pinks and everything. Everything's got kind of a gradient to it. It's just very nice, and she looks very sparkly. That's something I played around with, I think in I guess last year. I didn't do a full week of Mermay last year, even though I view doing a week of Mermay as a tradition for me. Last year it just did not happen with everything. So I only did like a couple random mermaid drawings, and I included like lots of gradients and color variation in their tails. And I think it just made the whole process of painting them so much more fun, and it made them look so much more magical. They almost reminded me of like Barbie mermaids because of that. Because if you've seen like Barbie in a mermaid tail, or Barbie in a Mermaid Tale 2, or Barbie Mermaidia, I don't know. All those mermaids kind of had like, you know, a lot of color going on, a lot of little details and stuff. And for some reason, I've always like simplified the tails a lot. So adding more color made it a lot more fun for me to paint this year's week of Mermay, as well as those couple mermaids from last year. Frankly, I'm not sure why it never occurred to me before to add like tons of gradients and variation and things like that. Obviously I'd added like patterns and weird features to my old mermaid designs from like years ago, but for some reason I just never thought to like add weird markings and things, like these strange kind of like tonal shifts and hue shifts on this mermaid's or maybe this is just a repackaged epiphany that, you know, drawing mermaids is fun. I tend to do that a lot where I'm like, oh, hey, I forgot about this thing that's like really fun about art. And so, yeah, it might just be that. But regardless, that was something that made a difference in how I participated in this year's Mermay. It just made it a lot more fun to really plan how I was going to paint each mermaid's tail to be unique. A lot of my prompts were like kind of quote unquote similar, or they could be considered similar. I did build my own prompt list, and I had my Instagram folks add in and suggest some new ideas, so I changed things around, and it is more varied than it was, but I was worried about this mermaid in particular looking too similar to the other mermaids in this series, because this prompt was seafloor, and obviously I'd already incorporated a lot of like coral and fish and things like that into other mermaid paintings. So I needed her colors to look like a little brighter, a little more happy, and of course I included like the anchor because I knew that man-made elements and like schools of angelfish and things like that would really be what set her apart from some of the other mermaids that just happen to have coral and shells and things like that in the background or whatever. Especially because pretty much all the mermaid paintings had like blue backgrounds, like, you know, ocean waves or whatever. So I knew those little details were going to be like super important. Finally, it was time to cut her out and release her from her paper prison. A lot of people have asked me why I cut out my mermaids and fairies and all that to separate them from all these little like collage details and backgrounds and all that. And really the answer is like kind of complicated, but also not really. I'm a simple woman, and I love things that remind me of my childhood, and I used to make a lot of paper dolls. So this reminds me of making paper dolls when I was like, you know, 10 or 12. But also I love that this gives me the option to like construct my paintings, like, you know, paint things kind of separately, like their little, I don't know, accessories or whatever, and then piece them together, play around with my composition a lot and make it like really crammed and busy. I find that I'm a little braver with the pieces that I'm willing to make for a painting when I know I can choose not to include it and to save it for another future project. And then when it comes to the how I cut things out, obviously I started by, you know, taking a nice sharp pair of scissors and like cutting most of the painting off. And then I went in with an X-Acto knife, and I'm on my my cutting mat. It's a self-healing cutting mat. It's on my desk. It's been on my desk for like 2 years. And I'm just cutting as close as I feel comfortable to my lines. I like to leave a little white and not get too like intense with it, I guess. I don't want things to be perfect. I want that little outline because, again, this does remind me of making paper dolls when I was little. Fun fact, this is actually like really intense physically. Like I've shown it before, but I have like a bump on my left, I don't know what it's called, like the middle finger on my left hand, and now there's a second lump forming from supporting the X-Acto knife, and I found that my thumb gets really sore, and it seems like there might be a bump forming on that too. The watercolor paper I use is thick, but not like an insane thickness. I don't know how thick, to be honest, like how thick it is, but I know it's like a nice quality Canson watercolor paper. So it's thick enough that it does take some strength to poke through. So you can see here on screen, I'm trying to cut away some of that excess, like, you know, white prison for the seaweed and the coral and all that, and it takes a lot of strength. And then for the background, I pulled out that Mia watercolor set that has the little capsules and everything. This set has like some really bright colors, so I decided to just go in and like start laying them down with that Himi brush set. These products are both sent to me by Mia. I did a whole unboxing video a few weeks back, so if you want to go check that out after this video, you definitely should, because there's a lot of watercolors in that. But I love these products, so I'm going to use them again. And I had fun adding in this beautiful, like, I don't know, like teal color. I hadn't done, I think, a teal background at this point in my Mermay week. I think I'd done a lot of like darker blues and things like that. But this was a really nice, like, tropical looking, sunshiny, continental shelf type of blue, and I decided to throw some pink in, like maybe there's some beautiful light coming through the water or something. I just wanted it to look very bright, very happy. And I tried to get the motion of like waves or something in there. I don't really know, but I want my backgrounds to be like very fluid and light and bright. And then I went in with like a green yellowy kind of color, and decided to just throw in some like I don't know, like the idea of some seaweed and stuff. Like you can tell what it's supposed to be, but it's not distracting, basically. I didn't want my mermaid to just be like in an empty environment. So I thought, she's got some plants behind her, maybe a little bit of like rock formations and things like that. You'll see later. That's something else I really love about making these like collage paintings, by the way, because I didn't used to like making backgrounds, but now I love adding like an environment for my characters. It just makes it more fun and less scary, because I do make a lot of mistakes in my paintings, and this is like an easy way to combat that, and also make it a lot more fun for me. Like, look, I'm placing my fish in my little, these are made with like watercolor and like a touch of colored pencil. I wanted this to be a pretty fluid painting, so I decided to keep like a lot of the background elements a little bit looser and really only have that like hard micron line art on my character. The one thing I did not love about this painting was the way that the coral still has a lot of white border, but I'm afraid I could not get it any tighter without potentially giving myself carpal tunnel or something, so I'll just have to deal with that. But here's another thing I love. Look at how all these little elements kind of, I don't know, encapsulate like the mermaid. Like she really looks like she's in the environment. Like her fin is like between a whole bunch of seaweed and stuff. That's something I really loved about like animated mermaid shows, like the 80s Little Mermaid movie from Disney, obviously. I loved that she like would move throughout those ocean environments. That was like my favorite part, honestly. So I love that in my own paintings I get to kind of capture that. And all these fish are just, they're so cute. I love them. I might have to paint more little fishies. They're wonderful. And I have all these like weird extra pieces that I will save for like a future mermaid painting, which is another thing I love about collage, is that if I love a certain thing that I've drawn, I don't have to erase it. I can just save it for a future painting. Like that's really important to me. I get to like collect it and have like a little baggie of things that I can use for a future project, and that just makes it so much fun, and it just scratches the part of my brain that loves collecting. And I know it's kind of confusing what's going on screen right now, where I'm taking things off, I'm gluing things together and all that, but I had to put certain pieces kind of together and have the mermaid on the paper to kind of figure out where I was going to place them and how everything should go. I'm sorry if that is confusing. That is the one thing about constructing paintings that I think is like a little weird to watch, probably. Maybe I should try to include clips of myself removing things so that you guys can, I don't know, follow along a little easier and not have that continuity kind of interrupted. But here I am now gluing that mermaid in place. She shouldn't be moving anymore. And here I am adding in all these extra little elements, and you can see I glued that seaweed and coral together, hoping that it would all stay down a little easier, and it did help in the end. And I'm using things to like weigh down, especially the mermaid's face. Sometimes things will warp up if you aren't careful when gluing stuff down, and I did not want that to happen, especially on the face. Obviously I'm careful, and if something happens, where things are warped, I will do my best to fix it. But the face is really, really hard to correct because you just kind of know when you're seeing it that it's been warped a little bit, which is why you'll see me in these types of videos like weighing down that face with like, you know, a glass or whatever a lot more than any other part of the painting. Sometimes I'll even just like stick the whole painting under like a pile of sketchbooks or something, because yeah, I have a lot of filled sketchbooks right at my desk. So if I'm worried about something warping, then yeah, I'll take the measures that are necessary. But for this particular piece, I was really only worried about the face. And now everything's sparkly because I took out my glitter glue and did my usual just glitter everywhere. Why not, right? I love glitter. I want it all over my paintings, so why not? And it works because she's a mermaid and she's in like some very healthy sparkly water, so why not? I think I say every part of a painting is my favorite part, but I really do love adding these like final details and little sparkles and things. Obviously I love adding that with the gel pen and all, but with glitter it's really fun too. I just take like an old ruined paintbrush, and I'll usually just dip it in my glitter glue bottle, because I think the bottle really just, it doesn't give you a lot of glue, and it takes like a lot of strength to get any out, so I take the whole cap off and I dip my brush in that way. And sometimes I'll bother to save the brush afterwards, but I do have a designated glitter glue brush. It's this one on screen that I pretty much just have ruined from using it with glitter glue like repeatedly. Like I don't use my nice paintbrushes that are, you know, that still have years of enjoyment to get out of them with the glitter glue. But yeah, this one's specifically for the purpose of putting down glitter and dipping it in Mod Podge and tacky glue, whatever I have on hand. You'll also see I'm laying down some like little silver star glitters. I really enjoy like the variation in the glitters that I have at my desk and adding a couple different ones to my paintings. I don't usually add more than like 3 different types. Like I'll add a glitter glue and then I'll add 1 or 2 different colors of stars. I think I added both silver and gold to this one, but we'll see in the finished product, I guess, because I literally do not remember. I painted so much within that week and a half. They all run together in like the best way possible. I guess that just sometimes happens when I'm like painting a whole bunch and I'm just like, okay, on to the next painting, on to the next painting. I don't know. I have a pretty bad short-term memory as is. So, you know, it could be that too. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. If you want to see more mermaid content, like I mentioned earlier in the video, there's a couple processes on my shorts, a whole bunch on Instagram, everything's up on Ko-fi. As far as photos go, all the processes are, again, on shorts and Instagram and all. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. I really enjoyed painting this mermaid. She's super cute. I love how she turned out. And real quick before I end the video, I want to give a quick shout out to my Ko-fi supporters. So thank you so much to Ashley, Savvy, and Tiffany. Your guys' support means the world to me and allows me to keep making videos just like this one. Thank you so much. And if you want to join my Ko-fi page, there will be a link in the description box below for all these benefits and so much more. Thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.